Hello, this is Alita from Science Starz, and if you're watching this video, it probably means that you received one of our science boxes for Christmas. So let's get started. So let's start by unboxing the kit for ages 6+. So we open it up and what have we got? We have a hot chocolate melt or a hot chocolate powder and some marshmallows. We have the tree challenge in a bag, a measuring tape, that's for the tree challenge. And we have a clear plastic bottle, food coloring, decorations, glue, a bauble, a stir stick, water, Epsom salts, oil, we have sodium bicarbonate or baking soda, citric acid, and the warning written instructions underneath everything, and a wee brochure underneath that. So lots of goodies. Oh, and nearly missed a bag of Skittles. To make your Christmas sensory bottle, you will need decals, food coloring, glue, a clear plastic bottle, and water. So to start with, unscrew the lid of your bottle, and we're going to start with the glue. So open up your glue bottle and squeeze it in. If you find it difficult to squeeze out, there is a little piece at the top that you can remove, and that will make it easier to squeeze the glue out. The reason we add glue to the sensory bottle is because it makes the water that we are going to add thicker. How thick a liquid is called its viscosity. So it describes how fast or slowly a liquid will flow. A liquid with low viscosity, or that's thin like water, will flow quickly. So once you have all the glue in, now it's time to add the water. So fill it to the top, and if you'd like, you could add some dish soap or hand soap to the bottle if you would like to be able to make bubbles. It's your choice. I'm going to add a little squirt of hand soap in. There. The next step is to add some color. Now, I don't want to add too much color because then it will make it too dark to see the decorations inside. So I'm just going to add 3 drops of color. And as you can see, it's spreading through the water, but it's not mixing with the glue just yet. We're going to have to shake it up. So now grab your decorations and put in as much or as little as you would like. Once you've got the desired amount of decorations in your bottle, screw on the lid nice and tightly. And then we're going to shake it up. We want the glue to mix with the water, so we'll give it a good shake. And you can see the bubbles starting to form where I have put the hand soap in. By adding glue to the water, we have increased its viscosity, which means that everything is going to flow slower. So that will allow for the decorations to move slowly in the liquid. Why not try to swirl it around and see what happens? Can you get it looking like a tornado? Which decorations sink the quickest? Are there any that float and don't sink at all? Have fun exploring! So I added more water to my bottle and got rid of all the air bubbles, and I noticed that the decorations moved slower. That was because I got rid of all the air. The air was making things move around very quickly. So give it a go and see what results you come up with. Enjoy! For the Skittles experiment, open up the bag and pour them onto a plate if you still have your Skittles and didn't accidentally eat them, not realizing that they were for a science experiment. Put them around the plate in any type of shape that you'd like. I'm making a circle and I'm alternating the colors so I don't have two of the same colors beside each other. I ended up with a lot of orange in this one. So I'm making a circle, and once I've got my circle, you can also make the shape of a candy cane or tree or anything festive. But once you've got your shape that you're happy with, take some warm water. So I've got some water here in a beaker, and start to pour it slowly into the center of the plate. Make sure that you pour enough water to go past the Skittles while you're filling the plate, and make sure to keep the plate nice and still. So wait and watch, and you will see the Skittles colors move towards the center of the plate with beautiful rainbow streaks. So the science behind this is that Skittles are coated with sugar and food coloring. And when you add warm water to them, the sugar and food coloring start to dissolve. They have similar amounts coated on them, so they dissolve at similar speeds and they stay in their lanes. So you can see it moving towards the center now. The sugar is moving to areas of water with lower sugar concentration. If the water is poured in the center, this is happening for each Skittle at about the same speed. You could also try this experiment by using cold water and timing it to see what the difference is between using warm water and using cold water. What do you think will happen? Have a wee think and make a prediction before you try it out. You might need to buy another bag of Skittles though. The fun thing about this experiment is that you can eat it at the end. Enjoy! If you have any festive plates or plates with decorations on them, you can be creative and put your Skittles in various places like I've done here. I've made a candy cane and added some eyes, and yeah, it's just for something different. And you can see the colors now separating and spreading. So now for the STEM tree challenge, you'll need your measuring tape and your bag filled with jellies and toothpicks. So the reason it's called a STEM challenge is because the challenge is to build a tree out of toothpicks and jellies. But the reason it's called STEM is because STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and maths. And when you use two or more of those when you're doing something, it's called doing STEM. So you're going to be using science because you're going to be dealing with things like gravity. You're going to be working on balancing. And then you're going to be using maths because you're going to be measuring how tall your tree is. And you're also going to be an engineer because that's what engineers do. They design and build things. So the challenge is to build a tree as tall as you can using only the gummies and the toothpicks provided. And I would like you to email us a photo of your tree with the measuring tape beside it so we can see how tall it is. And we are going to send a prize to the person who has been able to create the tallest tree. And the winner will be announced on the 15th of January. So you have a few weeks, but get building and get snapping. You can email us at info@sciencestars.com. So enjoy your STEM tree challenge. Now, moving on to our bath bomb, you will need citric acid, sodium bicarbonate, Epsom salts, water, oil, a bobble. It opens up. A stir stick and a bowl. So begin by pouring all of the sodium bicarbonate and citric acid into a bowl. You should have about 2 parts sodium bicarbonate to 1 part citric acid. And begin to stir. Then you want to take your oil and squeeze it in. You'll find you probably want to use it all, but save a few drops to oil the bauble. And then you're going to stir it really well to make sure that the oil is evenly distributed through all of the citric acid and sodium bicarbonate mixture. Now, if you don't mind getting your hands messy, you might find it easier to mix it all up using your hands. Now, you can take your Epsom salts and pour them in. If you would like to have more color on the outside of your bath bomb, then save some to pour into the bauble before you put the rest of the mixture into the bauble. Once you have your desired amount, begin to stir. Now what I'm going to do is to sample a little bit of it, give it a good squeeze to see if it holds together. And yes, it seems to be okay. You want it to have enough moisture so that it holds together. So just to add to that, take your little mini spray bottle. You'll see a nozzle when you take off the lid, and squeeze it 2 or 3 times just to give it a bit of water, because that's going to help hold everything together. You don't want to add too much water, because what will happen is it will start to react, because citric acid and sodium bicarbonate, when they come together in the presence of a liquid, they react and start to form fizzy bubbles, and that's what we want to have happen in the bathtub and not any time before. So now it's time to fill the bauble up with our mixture. But before doing that, take a few drops of your oil and rub your finger all around the inside of both sides of the bauble, and that will prevent your bath bomb from sticking to the bauble once it's dry and ready to come out. Okay? So now take a spoon and start scooping the mixture into one side of the bauble. And pack it down nice and tightly. You want it to hold together, so it's going to have to be nice and tightly packed. So keep filling it up and packing it down until you can't get any more into it. And then put that to one side and take the other half of the bauble and do the same thing. So fill in as much as you can and pack it down. Pack it down nice and tightly, nice and compact. Then use your stir stick to scrape the top of it off so that it's nice and smooth. Now it's time to connect the 2 baubles together. But before we do that, we're going to give it a few squirts of water just to help it hold together. So give it a little squirt, flatten it down again, both sides. Okay, and now it's ready to be brought together. So very carefully bring the 2 sides together, and you should be able to snap the bauble together if you push them together tightly. Not too tightly, because the bauble could crack. So now you will leave that for a day or so for it to dry, and once it's ready, you will just open the bauble and out it should pop. So here is one that I made previously, and as you can see, the color's mostly on the outside. And what I did was I poured Epsom salt into each side of the bobble before filling the bobble up with the mixture. So that's it, ready to go. That's what yours should look like. Nice and dry and ready for the bath. Well done. Now I would like to show you one that is fizzing in a bowl, and just to let you know that those bubbles are filled with carbon dioxide gas. When the citric acid and sodium bicarbonate come into contact with water, they start to react with each other, basically making a chemical reaction, and the result is bubbles filled with carbon dioxide. So when you use a bath bomb, you're actually creating a chemical reaction and doing chemistry, which is a type of science. Imagine that. This is Elite from Science Starz saying bye for now and Happy Christmas.